Do artists really have to starve to be true to their craft? Must the business side of creativity drain all inspiration? No, it does not. 5 minutes on creative entrepreneurship can help you master the business side of creativity, reap greater rewards from your talent, and enjoy your work to the fullest.
I'm so glad trouble don't last always.
Taking an exam can be stressful, especially when it's a timed exam like the SAT. Not only do you struggle to answer each question, but your mental exertion is increased as you anticipate the impending pencils down. Awareness of time pressures can cause stress just as much as the financial pressures we discussed in previous episodes can. Most creative service businesses operate either directly on time and materials or on project fees that are tied to hourly benchmarks, and so measuring time is going to be a necessary discipline. I'm Eric Holter, and I've been a serial creative entrepreneur for over 3 decades. After graduating from Rhode Island School of Design in 1991, I could cut and print beautiful wood engravings. But I had no idea how to run a business. They just don't teach enough about business in art school. Since most creative service businesses bill by the hour, or fees based on hourly estimates, dealing with time is something every creative entrepreneur has to contend with. But most creatives minimize their interaction with the clock as much as possible. There's a creative zone we can enter when we're so locked into our work that we lose all track of time. That is a deeply engaging and highly productive zone to get into. But what if every time we got into that zone, we were interrupted by someone telling us how much time we had left to complete the assignment? Such intrusions would completely disrupt the creative flow. Which is why most creatives like to go heads down and eliminate distractions when they set themselves to work. The more aware of the clock we become, the less effective our creative process and our productivity. And yet, mastering the business of creative entrepreneurship depends on maintaining complete, accurate, timely, and detailed time records. Does that mean that the more diligent you are in managing your time, the less productive and effective your creative product will be? This tension is the reason why it's so common for creatives to resist, delay, or minimize their engagement with the clock. But is there any way to resolve this tension? While we might not ever remove this tension completely, there are ways to minimize and balance it. There are some practical tips, such as blocking off sections of your week to devote to creative work. So you can shut down email, put your phone on airplane mode, and set your timer and forget it as you dive into your work. You can also work on establishing a concise set of categories for timekeeping to make the mechanics of your system easier to maintain. But the realities of this tension are really more psychological than mechanical. And so we have to change how we think about time constraints at a deeper level. For example, rather than dwelling on the negative tensions of timekeeping, consider instead the effects on your creativity if you don't track your time. Do financial pressures, mounting task lists, and blown project schedules improve your creative process? Try to think of your timer as an ally rather than as a taskmaster. A little bit of discipline with your time can relieve you of so many other tensions that will kill your creativity, but that can be avoided with just a bit of diligence in timekeeping. Also, remember what Leonardo da Vinci once said: "Art lives from constraints and dies from freedom." We've all experienced blank canvas syndrome, but with clearer objectives and goals, we do our best work. Perhaps we need to think of time as just one more constraint that simply has to be worked into our creative process. Tracking all of your time, and more importantly, evaluating this data regularly, will help you estimate more accurately, account for overhead more realistically, and restore your control over your projects. All of which will improve your profitability and reduce financial pressure. And under those conditions, creativity really will flourish. So do yourself a favor and make peace with the ticking clock. If you're not tracking all of your time, make a commitment to start this vital practice today. So until next week, don't let the business of creativity overwhelm your creative business.
5 Minutes on Creative Entrepreneurship is a podcast by Eric Holter, mentor to creative entrepreneurs. You can find more content and resources at erichholter.com. His book, Blazing the Freelance Trail, is available on Amazon in print, Kindle, and audio. If this podcast is helpful to you, be sure to share it with your colleagues, and ratings and reviews are always appreciated.
I'm so glad trouble don't last.